Tweet. Oh, come on. Come on. I guess I should snare the image. That would help. And, alright, went out. Hello, everybody out there on the internet. We're about to start podcasting. Just give us a quick second here. And we'll be all ready and stuff. Oh, I guess I gotta go to the chat too. Whatever. I'll do that while I do the intro.
Hi,
okay,
internet.
let's see. Where are we out in time? Okay, did I just click on that? I think I did. Whoops. Following. Well, that's close. Okay. We are at 29. Okay, so we're gonna give me 5 seconds here. We'll start. Okay. 5, 4, 3. Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z episode 249. One before 250. I'm Taken Master, joined by
RPG Maniac 05.
Holy cow, 250. It's Trioptical. Hello.
There are cows.
So yeah, we've got much been playing. The Walking Dead season 2 finale just blew my mind. I can speak for Tropical, but yeah, my brain literally, okay, not literally, very figuratively, almost literally, was just like destroyed by the events in that game, and I was just like, wow, that was just, whew, man, Telltale, dudes and ladies, awesomeness.
He cried.
I choked. I did not. I teared up. Okay, I did not cry, but yeah,
He cried.
whatever. So much been playing. Maybe a middle segment, and I forgot I call it whatever, news and stuff. So, who wants to start with what they've been playing?
It's always in stuff.
I know.
Well, so, first of all, Walking Dead. We don't tend to talk about it, and so I, like, for fear of spoilers, and I really believe it, like, if you, I think that kind of ruined the finale for me. I read, like, Telltale was just tweeting out quotes from tons and tons of positive reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sort of had an idea of what was going on or how it was going to be. And then when I played through it, yeah, parts of it felt more predictable to me. And then there were parts of it that I didn't really buy. And yeah, so in the end, I was sort of like, I still like season 1 the best. And it's not rose-tinted glasses because I had actually just played through season 1 again on the Vita.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, the best thing about that is that now I have over 2 gigs of space on my Vita. Yay, space! So I can fill that with other games.
Which he rarely has on
Yeah,
any of his consoles, actually.
I played
Space.
episode 4, 5, and 400 days of season 1. Before playing in the interim between season 2 episode 4 and season 2 episode 5. And yeah, playing through it again is like, it's still really good. It's like, oh. I tried to do a different type of playthrough, but when I'm faced with the choices, I just couldn't do it. There are parts of, well, actually there was one thing that I did do pretty major that was really different. And it really changed how the last episode of season 1 was. But anyway. Yeah, season 2... I guess it's hard to fault it. I think what I'm most disappointed about it... That's phrased weird. Okay, the part that bothered me the most was that now I really need season 3. Because
like, immediately.
Yeah, it's just like it wasn't sort of clean like season 1 was. Like you sort of thought season 1 was clean, and then there was another sort of teaser. It's like, oh, and then you're hoping that they're gonna make a season 2.
There is no like teaser at the end of season 2 of like,
season 2's ending
post-credit scene in the field.
Season 2's ending just felt like, okay, bring on season 3.
Yeah,
and saying that, I feel like, oh, now I've said too much. I've ruined it for everyone. So I'm going to stop saying stuff about that one and go on to what I've mostly been playing, which is Diablo 3. This is my Mass Effect 3. Or this is my Mass Effect, actually. The way Tekken describes playing Mass Effect throughout the however many years we've been doing this podcast. Like,
It's been quite a few.
I can kind of see myself doing that with Diablo 3. Of course, now that I've said it, I probably won't do it. So that's good. But it is crazy. Ultimate Evil Edition, kind of the same game, but just like lots of different tweaks from the PC version. So, and much closer to the PS3 version. So I have all these versions, but it's still really fun. Like I'm playing. Well, first of all, what I found out was that once I exported my character from PS3 to PS4, it didn't, I can't go back. So my PS4 character is now a monk as well, but a totally different monk character than my PS3 character. And I went back to the PS3 version and was like, oh, this is where I left this one off. And I started playing that one too, but in a totally different way. So I went in and consciously switched out all the skills. Like, okay, I'm gonna play this one totally different skills, and see what happens. So now it's like I have two male monk characters who are progressing totally differently, and that was totally fine. It was like I expected. Oh, I'm just gonna be bored on PS3 because he's not my powerful monk character. He's sort of like a sort of powerful monk character. But yeah, changing the skills changes the game a lot. And then I was just back in it. It's like, oh, this is really fun again. So I'm leveling 2 monk characters separately. Then yesterday, they released a new patch for the PC version in which they're adding seasons. So for every season of Diablo 3, you start a new character, designate them as your season character, and then you just try to level them up as much as you can. And then there's unique legendary loot and stuff that will come from participating in the seasons, as long as you hit level 70 every season. And I saw that, I was like, wow, this is really smart, I think. Because I think most people, the really hardcore, probably made their 12 or 14 characters or whatever and played them all to max.
12 or 14 characters.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then they're just like, okay, there's no reason to play anymore. And then with seasons, it's like, oh, there's loot that's unique to the seasons. So now I have to play again. And I can't use my awesome, powerful characters. I can go and I have to make new season characters for every season. And you can play it all over again. And because they've continuously tweaked the game since it came out. So a lot of the skills, I have a strategy guide. For some reason, I bought a strategy guide at the very beginning. Almost none of the information in there is probably true anymore because the game is so different now. In the beginning, it cost crazy amounts of material and gold to upgrade your artisans. And now, that's just not the case. It's like, a lot of those materials and stuff aren't even in the game anymore. It's just gold, and it takes way less gold. And so that's all different. And some of the enemies, I guess, are sort of the same, but skills got really revamped in this last patch. They did a lot of things, I was playing Barbarian, and a lot of the runes that augment your different attack skills have been totally changed. They're all elemental based now, and they don't do what they used to do. It's a brand new game, and if they keep doing that, yeah, right now I'm sitting here thinking, I could play Diablo 3 for the next 10 years, which is probably how long it'll take for them to make Diablo 4.
Because it's true.
The one game. I've been thinking, Destiny is the one game. And I started playing this and looking at seasons start on Friday. And I was like, that sounds really cool. I do want to play that. I was like, so there's that. And I have 2 console versions that I'm both actively playing.
I'm just glad we're finally at a point where developers can just refresh their games at incremental levels like this.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, well, this is it until the next game comes out, and we're not even going to patch it. We can't even release an expansion. It's like, nope, this is it. That's all you're getting for the next 12 to 48 months, and we make a next one, and then you play that. Yeah.
It's really cool. The other thing, the PS4's unique features, the Nemesis system, I've gotten more experience with that, and I think I talked about last week where
You didn't.
if someone dies in the game, the enemy that killed them has a probability chance of leveling up and becoming a Nemesis monster, and then will jump through a portal and go to someone on your friends list, like their game, and come out and try to kill them.
Well, that just sounds awful.
Yeah,
What the hell?
If they succeed, then like if your friend succeeds in killing your nemesis, then you get a prize too. But if they fail, the nemesis creature levels up again
and murders more
jumps
people.
through another. Yeah.
What the hell?
Another one.
It sounds like a terrible cycle because eventually it's going to become too powerful to kill. So.
Well, they capped it, so it's capped to 5 level ups. It's sort of like the what are those creatures with the little heads in Borderlands?
Goliaths.
And then Goliaths. If you like shoot off their helmets, they level up, and then they go around and kill a bunch of stuff, and then they level up more.
Yeah.
There's a level cap. Although I think it would be cool if there was no level cap. I would like to see what that would turn into.
It'd be cool right up until the point where no one could go anywhere because they have a murderous monster on the loose. Like, well, we can't get past this level because someone let the nemesis get too powerful, so now it's just killing.
It was really neat. I was playing with... So I've just been jumping into other people's games. And I jumped into... I think Sinister's game. And he was playing with someone else. Or I guess I don't... He or she, I don't know who they are. Was playing with someone else. And we had entered this room, which is usually just a cutscene room. And the cutscene was playing out, and I just had sort of put down my controller, and I was like looking at my phone, and then suddenly like I heard combat. I was like, "What is going on?" I look up, and it was it was the Nemesis creature. I was like, "Oh, holy crap! This is so cool!" And the 3 of us were able to kill it pretty easily. So, but it was really awesome that it just happened there in a room where there's never any fighting. Like that was so cool.
Like, surprise!
And then my second encounter was also with a nemesis that had come from Sinister's game. Apparently this one had killed him or her. And another character. So when I saw it and I looked at its life bar, it had 2 portraits underneath, each representing one of the victims. And I was like,
That is cool.
And I was like, oh man. And this time I was playing solo, so I was by myself. I was like, oh man, it's on. And at that point, it's like, my monk's pretty good. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take it on. But it had so many different abilities.
Because it was carrying the heads of your fallen friends. That's why.
It was not good. In Diablo, the way they refer to the way they augment monsters is they give them more modifiers. And so the higher level difficulty levels you choose, the more modifiers a monster can have. And I think Nemesis monsters don't have that restriction. So it came in, and it had at least 4 different modifiers. It had something called Vortex, which I didn't realize until later, because it pulled me in, and that's how it killed me. It had like these lightning orbs, where it just summons this large radius, and within those radius, within that circle, there's a whole bunch of orbs that are just pulsating lightning. If you touch them, they do damage over time, and they take lots and lots of damage as you're standing there. It also had Arcane, where it drops. You'll see like a sparkle next to you, and then a laser will shoot out of it, and it'll like spin and make this circle of death, which is
sound like fair abilities.
Yeah, it was crazy.
To have.
And I was fighting other stuff at the time, so I was fighting, and then suddenly it appeared. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like, "Oh, okay, no, it's good, I can fight it." And then suddenly all the lightning balls appeared, and then the arcane magic started happening. I was like, And then my life went down to almost nothing instantly. I was like, okay, this is bad. And I ran away and I hid in a cave to heal. And I was like, okay,
Found
healing,
you.
waiting for my potions. Like, okay, I'm ready. And I go out and I walk around a bit and it's like, it's gone. I was like, oh, I guess I can't zone into a different area because that cancels the encounter. It's like, oh, I really wanted to fight it. That sucks. Well, I got my wish later. I was fighting a bunch of other stuff, and suddenly it appeared again. And I don't know if this was in my head or I actually heard it, but I thought I heard, let's finish this. As it jumped out the portal, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I was in a much better position at the time, so I was like, okay, I think I could do it. And I started... it can't cast like the lightning bolt thing over and over again in rapid succession. So it cast it in one place, and so I ran to some other place, and it followed me, and I was like, all right, here we go, one-on-one. And I started punching it, and it was like trying to claw at me, and was like, oh, I'm doing okay. And then I don't know what happened, but suddenly my health was down to very low. I was like, uh-oh, run, and I used my dash move to dash away, but I hit a wall. And then it did its vortex move. It was like, I didn't know you had vortex. It pulled me back. One hit and I'm gone. It's like, no.
It would be even worse if it like cast that stupid lightning thing and then vortexed you all after the fact, because then you would have been screwed.
And then I realized, oh crap! Like, I'm its third victim now.
You just inadvertently made it even worse. Good job.
I like shared the video. I was like, people playing Diablo on my friends list. Like, I'm sorry.
It's coming for you now.
Oh man, it was crazy, but it was super awesome. I killed them. Yeah, I guess Sinister's playing more than anyone else because I've killed one of his nemesis, whatever.
Nemesis?
It appeared.
Nemesis is that.
And for some reason, like I think it's because I picked up this legendary sword, and suddenly, like I don't think I've ever been as powerful as I am now.
Is it Excalibur?
No, I don't think so.
That's disappointing.
It is insane. Like I'm in an area which used to give me in the year or so that I've been playing Diablo, this area always gives me problems. But this time, I'm just mowing through them. My dash move can kill 20 guys just by dashing through them. It's crazy. I was like, wow, I think this is the most powerful I've ever been. And so when the Nemesis appeared that time, I was like, whatever. And yeah, very quickly just took it out. I was like, oh, that's that. Here's Sinister. Here's a gift. And yeah.
A head in a box.
This is a message. It's done. I did it. I got revenge. I avenged you.
It is so cool how powerful I am right now. I did get killed once though before I found the sword, and I saw that monster jump through the portal, and I was like, oh boy.
Did you realize eventually you can remove that cap through a patch, and then all hell is gonna break loose?
I hope so. I want to see it.
That's a pretty cool mechanic. It makes me think of the last Highlander movie when the guy's killing all the immortals and like taking all their power and just like
there can only be one.
Yeah. It's like I'm coming for you, McClouds.
It's really cool. The console exclusive features for Reaper of Souls are really neat. The Nemesis thing is one. The gift system is another one. So sometimes you'll see an item drop and it'll just say, oh, it's a gift for someone on your friends list, and then you can just send it to them. And the advantage of that is like you don't even have to know what character they have or what build they're going for or any of that, because I mean, how could you really? It's just the gift will be right for their character at the time. It's like, oh, that's really cool. And then adventure mode. Well, I guess that's in all of them. What else is console exclusive?
Isn't there like the Last of Us enemy type thingies?
I actually haven't seen that yet. That's
Oh.
in like a special themed area.
Ew.
Hmm. Well, yeah, it's been so cool. I tried playing the PC version today, and even though I'm really excited about the seasons thing, it doesn't feel as good as playing with a controller. Like the controller feels really nice. Playing the game with a controller feels really nice, and I can just play it on and on and on and on. I've been playing a lot on remote play too, so that's pretty surprising that it works so well. Not the remote play technology, but like the button layout and just the tiny screen, because a lot of the text is really tiny on Vita. But yeah, like playing on PC, it's not as comfortable. Much better on controller. I hope they add controller support to the PC version. That'd be great. Also, the shortcut system is really, really good now. Just being able to junk things really quickly. Equip things, even skills you can all equip really quickly. I made a video. I haven't shared it yet, but someone was asking me how the inventory system is, and I just made a video. I was like, yeah, this is me questing, and then I go back to town to sell off and salvage my stuff, and yeah, 10 minutes, like this is the loop. 10 minutes, 8 minutes of questing. Oh, I could have gone longer, but it's really fast. It's so good. But I agree, Tekken, if you had gotten it when Destiny comes out, it's like, wow.
You'll never be seen again. 'Cause
Don't cross the streams.
So good, so good. So I can't wait for seasons. Now I want to play. Right, that's all I've been playing. So go.
I'm sorry, I don't have a PS4 yet.
Wait, are you against Diablo?
No. Should I be?
I like how you phrased that drop to call. Are you against Diablo?
That's an unusual. That's an unusual way to ask a question. It's like, should I be?
Well, I for some reason I had the impression that you were like, Diablo. You know?
I don't even think I've ever played it before, so
Okay.
I can't technically be against it yet.
So what have you been playing RPG?
Oh, just to use. I went back to
People
start.
like their pianos.
Haha, yeah. Don't hate. But I went back to Dark Souls 2 because I figured like since the DLC came out, more people would go back to playing it and stuff. So I was just going to like level up my character mostly. So I was just helping people kill bosses and stuff, and I was like leveling up my areas like with the thingy to make them harder so I can get the items that I need and stuff. But then I couldn't find anybody to go through the level with me, and I was like, well, I can't fight the giant spider monster thing by myself because the thing is like ridiculously powerful. Because I mean, when I jumped it up the first time to get the soul, I was like, okay, we can probably make it through this. But then after like 8 attempts, I was like, this thing is a lot more powerful in a new game plus version of this area than I expected, because it's like this giant two-headed spider that shoots out laser beams and stuff. So I was like, okay, so I'll just wait. And then eventually I did get a team together that was able to kill the damn thing, so it worked out. But then I leveled up the area again so I can get the soul again, because I need it for a spell, because I used it for a sword the first time. So I have to see if I get the timing right to get some people to go through there with me so I can kill the giant spider thing again. But yeah, that's gonna be on the back burner for now, I guess. So I've been collecting other stuff in the meantime and just helping people kill things. So that's the thing. And then I've been playing Tales of Xillia 2 as well, and I don't know about this game. They just changed. The stuff they changed about it was like the stuff I liked, so it kind of like takes away from the game, because it's like, well, I like this stuff about the first game, so why would you, take it out or, alter it completely? So now it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I like this game or not. And then stuff and stuff. And then they keep giving you this illusion of choice, which I'm pretty sure really isn't affecting the game much because
That's what I saw on their video reviews I watched, or the one video review I watched.
Because I was curious, so I went back during one of them and like chose something else, but then the outcome was exactly the same, just like one line of dialogue was different. I was like, well, then what was even the point? There was really no change was happening in this at all. So now I think like the entire thing is just going to be these superficial choices which pretty much have no effect on anything, which is even more hilarious than like, because you find out like pretty early in the game that it turns out that these weird occurrences that are going on are actually the creation of like alternate timelines or something. And like since the main character has the ability to destroy the timelines, it kind of like any decisions you make during them is like null because the timeline's going to get destroyed anyway. And then somebody actually mentioned that in the game themselves. They're like, yeah, it doesn't matter, they're all going to die anyway. So it's like, well then, since we've just decided that genocide's okay, let's just go on about our business then, why don't we? So that's become a thing. But yeah, I'm still not a fan of the whole semi-silent protagonist thing. It's just it just irks me now because it's even worse because all the characters from the previous game are in this game. So it's like the main character is kind of like two-dimensional as a result because now it's like I don't know. So I kind of have mixed feelings about this game. So it makes me sad because I was all excited, and then no, I'm not. So
You don't say.
Sorry, because they had been doing. Because my thing is like they've been doing such a good job with the Tales series as a like. Because I was playing like each of the ones that I've been playing. I was like, yeah, I loved these, and then now I get to this one, and I'm like, I don't love you. I'm sorry. You are not awesome like the previous ones. You have gone back to the pre-Symphonia days, and I don't like you. So it makes me sad. But thankfully, I'll have games coming out like every week for like the next few weeks now, so I can be distracted and
there to the
pretend
of the fall. Avalanche.
Well, I mean, it's already started.
it's already started.
So I mean, it's like that's
August is
that ship
technically
has sailed.
summer. I'm just saying, gosh.
Yeah, because this week is Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, which I'm like super excited about. So I'll be playing that come Friday once that comes out.
I totally forgot that's coming out.
So I'm like really excited for that. And then Danganronpa 2 comes out the week right after that, or like next week technically. So it's not even like the week right after that. It's like a few days after that.
A few days.
Yeah, so I was like, yay, more games! So it's just gonna be crazy. And then I have like games every week in September, and it's like, it's too much. It's too much. But I'm okay with it, because now I have stuff to play, so that's great. But yeah. Tales of Xillia 2. I'm so disappointed. I think I'm just gonna stop playing sequels of games. Because that sigh. But that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, well, I guess I'll start with my handheld games. So, I was playing Fez. I was playing Fez. I got to a part where you get to the columns that have like the little numbers of cube thingies that open the next area, and I'm on the fourth one because there's 4 doors and you have to get like a certain amount of them to open them. And I'm on the last one, but I can't get enough of the cubes or find them, so I'm kind of stuck there. Haha, Dory, I know. So, kind of stopped my progress with that. However, it allowed me to. I was about to start playing. Okay, so during the flash sale that PSN just had of games, I bought the Sly Cooper Trilogy 1, 2, and 3 for Vita.
Did you already have that?
The Sly Collection, it was $10. It was only $10 RPG. But it's on Vita. I can play it anywhere now. Like that. Okay. So here's like Tekken's new rules on double dipping. Okay. So it's like if a game is on like multiple platforms, I will not buy it. However, if it's a cross-buy game, that doesn't count since it's going to be like 2 for 1. So it's like, okay, duh. But if it's like a game that's really awesome that I like, and it's also available on handhelds, and it's super cheap, after the fact that I bought the console version, I'll buy it again. So it's like whatever. It's like 10-2. It's like, you know, I mean not 10-2, 10 HD and 10-2 HD. It's like, you know, I really like that game. So it's like at that price that it was at, it's like, dude, it's like cheap anyway. So, and I like it. So it's not like I'm gonna buy it and be like, oh, this game sucks, I've already played it. And it's like, oh, this game's awesome, so now I can play it anywhere, which is even more awesome. It just adds to the awesome. So it's like, it's additive, it's not subtractive. I don't think that's a word, but whatever. So
I'm just about to say. Don't either, actually.
You know, as long as I can just have my experience again, but not be tethered to a console or, you know, yeah, need a controller. But yeah, I got that. The Sly trilogy was like $10, and then I got Tales of Grace's F was $10, and then there's something else I got for $10.
I enjoyed that game.
I can't remember what it was, but I spent like $30, and I was like, oh, okay, that's not bad for like those awesome games. So yay. I'm getting sidetracked here, but like the point I was making, I got stuck on Fizz, and I was like, well, I need to play a game, and I was like downloading Sly Cooper, but I messed up my internet connection before I left for work that day, and I was like, oh, I didn't finish downloading, and I was stuck with games on my menu, and I was like, I haven't tried this Doki Doki Universe game out yet. And let me tell you, Doki Doki Universe, I know Tropical talked about it, but this game is a magical game, and it unlocked the keys that, jeez, words, I'm sorry.
Yes. Those are things. Correct.
It put the key into the lock in my chest to unlock my heart and like melt the ice away of how hardened I had become from all these other games that are not like this game. This game is magical and beautiful, and I just cannot, you know. At first, this game, you know, very unsuspecting. You know, you're like on some planet, you get left by some people, and 30 years pass, and it's like, I must find my human compatriots, and then like you're about to be discontinued, and it's like, what? No way. And then it's such a cute game, and like you are there, and you have like your balloon best friend, and he's like, dude, you got to go out and explore, dude, to find that person that left you. And it is just like mind blowing. I did not expect, like, I was just so not suspecting anything of this game, and then like it just took me by surprise like so much, because you go to different planets, and it's cool because you have to like, you basically just go and like solve people's problems. It's like it's a super it's 100% positive game of like you just help people, and then like they help you, and like there's a part where it's like, you know, some people will help you if you get them more upset or whatever, but I haven't got there yet, so it's like whatever. So far it's like all good, all positive. Peace and love, man. It's great. And then like it's cool.
I remember playing the demo for that, and I was like, this game is pretty adorable, because it's just like it's so not like your typical game. So it's like it kind of like catches you off guard at first. It's like, oh, well, this is not awful at all. And everything's all cutesy drawn and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah. Yeah,
it's so cool. It feels very much like if you could just have like a ton of stuff in a very old style game, 'cause it's just like a 2D. I'm just walking down the street on this planet, and oh, there's another NPC. Let me help them. And then they like tell you something about them, and you're like, oh, you mean this is what you need? And you have like a giant bag of stuff, and you can pull out an object or like go and try to find it from like one of their planets. And when you do, they get happier and like, yay, you're my friend. And then it's like you have these context-sensitive things on the Vita where it's like, I think it's like if you rub it left and right, you'll like hug them or shake their hand, and then like it's up and down, you like bow or something. But it's just so cool because you can like give people hugs and they'll hug you, and it's like, oh, they give me a hug. And it's just it's so adorable. It melted my heart. I was just like, wow, this game. It brought me back after all the dreariness of PT and other things like that. I'm just like, every now and then you need a palate cleanser, and this I would say is like the ultimate palate cleanser game. If you've been playing too many shoot 'em in the face games or other games, or anything really, just pop this in, it'll make your day awesome. And then I found out some other stuff in this game. I was just exploring on my... Okay, and then the other awesome thing I gotta say, dudes and ladies, is like, you know, when you're in space, you need a spaceship. This game's like, you don't have a spaceship. You ride around on like magical animals with like wings on them.
On them.
So it's like you start off with like a pig that can fly. It's like, what? No way. Pigs can fly, whatever. And then it's like, yeah, I got like a whale and something else. I was like, dude, a space whale? That's awesome. Like, this game just blew my mind. I was like, why?
Space whale.
I was like, dude, this is totally getting like this is like its stock is rising in my game of the year discussion of like this caught me off surprise and I'm totally blown away and it's a underrated or whatever they call it. But
I don't think it came out this year though, did it?
oh, that's too bad. Well, punch me in the face game because I should have played it. And I'd go back in time and punch myself in the face for not playing it. Like so many other games.
That seems a bit much considering you just talked about how this game's all happy and unlocking the keys to your soul, and now you want to punch yourself in the face?
That's how that works in RPG. I always say that when I play a game that's like somewhat old, and I'm like, oh, how did I not know about this? I should go back in time and punch myself in the face. But the other thing. Okay, so there's these okay.
Breathe.
Okay, so there's these asteroids, and when you go to them, you take these personality quizzes, and the way it is framed and the way it presents your results to you is just so positive too. It's just like, oh, it doesn't like the game never tears you down. It's always like, you're awesome, and you have this positive ability going on, and you know you're. It's like it's cool.
Oof. Use your words, Tekken.
I'm sorry.
Use your words.
It's cool. It's cool because like you do them, and it's like, oh, that was cool. Do you want to like see the results in detail? And then it's like it like goes over like everything that you picked and like why this says this about you and stuff. And then sometimes it's wrong, but sometimes it's right. So it's like, oh man, that's so right about me. And then because like I kept getting like I'm an adventurous person, and I'm like I'm not an adventurous person, but I can see like why it would give it to me since like the results it presents to me, and like I picked whatever I picked because.
Well, maybe you're like secretly adventurous and you just don't know it yet.
I don't know about that, but. Yeah, man, it was like that, and just like all the little things it gives. Like every time it's like there's a quiz, and like the stuff that you can pick from is all cute and stuff. It's like there's 4 stick figures, and like one's really happy, and one's really just normal, and like one's just looking around, and one's just like spinning in a circle. It's like, oh, which one are you? And it's like, oh, I'll pick this one, and then like use the touchscreen to pick one, and it's like, oh, okay, and then like there's like a bunch of those, and just because of the results, oh, it's a magical game. Doki Universe. It stole my heart. I'm now in love with this game. It's just like I couldn't stop playing it. And then I was playing it at work. I was like, wow, this is like the perfect work game. So it just like completely it makes after this soulless experience of here, I can just play this to escape for like 15 minutes at a time and be like, yes, Doki Universe. I want to be in this universe, not this crappy capitalism. But moving on to the next game I played. That was not Doki Universe. Okay, so you know, just a quick mention, Gran Turismo 6, Ace Combat Infinity, still checking them out every week, so yeah. Then Ace Combat Infinity actually, what happened in that game recently? Oh, okay, sorry, I remember something.
Must be cool.
There's a shocker.
I had a memory trigger. So, there's like an update on, there's like a, whatchamacallit, update on PSN you had to download to play it, like a new version of the game. And so they added these things where there's like assaults. That's what they're called. So it's not just a you versus the other team. It's you go in and just like defeat as many enemies as possible. There's like ground units, there's air units, and it's cool because it's kind of like a normal stage except for it's not. I don't know why it's not because it plays exactly the same. Where there's the stage and then you have the 2 teams and then you have the mid stage objective, but I guess it's just new stages. I don't know. It's weird because they called it assault, but it plays exactly the same. And then they added these new emergency sorties. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but the one that I do know because I played it and I recorded it is Stonehenge, and it's crazy because there's like a railgun shooting at you, and it's like if you get hit by it, you're effed and you're dead, and it's like super hard because you have to take out these towers to like lower the radar, but then before you can strike the railgun, there's like this squadron of ace pilots that come in that you have to take down. But I didn't get past that part, so I've only played it like twice. So, and then the second time was like the second version of the map, second version of the stage, which is like even harder. So it's like yeah. But I think what the thing was is that usually lately when I play and I just want to get in a match, I will host a game of just 4 human players and like 4 AI players. But if I had 8 human players, we probably would have did it because the AI is kind of stupid in this game. So, or they're not as like crazy and aggressive and awesome as humans. So it's like that's probably something I should look at. But when I play at weird hours. So I don't want to like be all waiting for a room to get full. So that's why I use the 4v4. But yeah, there's that, and then they added this cool like golden F-16C Falcon. Yeah, it's called the Falcon. and like I got that 'cause you had to play a certain amount of times, like 20 times, and then I got it, so I was like, yeah. And then also I finally finished the monthly objective of the Dubai mission, so that was cool. I got the banner thingy. Oh, and they had this okay. I'll get into this in the next segment, but like during the DDoS attack, I was like, dude, what the f? Because like there's a pirate event going on, and I wanted to pirate Emblem, and I was doing so good, and then PS went down, and I couldn't play anymore. I was like, oh, I was climbing the ladder of like the rankings. I was like close to top 10,000 or something. I was like, dude, I almost got it, and then I couldn't log in. I was like, effing hackers again, dude. Even on PS4, or I guess not even on PS4, but like still those efforts,
Oh my.
F them. But
Just F them.
Yep.
Calling them hackers is an insult to real hackers.
Oh,
though.
those people that do that thing to the PSN, those people, F them.
Just F them.
Yep. And then besides that, okay, Strider dudes, Strider. Oh man, that game I finished it.
Good.
It is good. Like, whew. Okay, that game is basically just like it has wow. I just almost made a word. It has catapulted itself into the meteoric levels of other downloadable games that are awesome, such as Shadow Complex and Journey. Well, it's not like the same type of game as Journey, but like it's up there as far as like quality. It's like, oh, I played it and it's awesome, and Flower and all those other downloadable games I enjoy to play. So I played this and I was like, Hot Ninja Action. If you need yourself some Hot Ninja Action, this is the game for you. And you haven't had some Hot Ninja Action in a while, yeah, you be cutting up dudes and like dodging stuff, and there's crazy mini bosses, and there's crazy Uber take up the whole screen bosses, and you just be like shot, and just like chop them all up, and just like, oh, it's delicious, and just like, oh, and then oh, okay, sorry, yeah, I should remember something. So and then on top of that, you have like Metroidvania level of like exploration and upgrades and fast travel. You get like this panther that you can jump on and like teleport through. I was like, what? A panther that teleport? Yeah, it's good. And then you get like little thingies from like Strider if you play him in Marvel Capcom. Like he has all those thingies. Like he has the eagle, he's got the bombs, he's got the panther, he's got his swords. And then this one he has like the Metroidvania stuff. So you have like red doors, blue doors, yellow doors, and some other doors, and then like each door is a new sword you get later on, and I didn't know that until like I finally finished it. It's not that long either, but that's another cool thing. It's like it took me like 4.5 hours. It's a trophy for like under 4 hours. I'm gonna get it, but we'll see. I'll hopefully before Destiny, and so he like his red sword is just like the normal sword that like. But it's cool because like that unique ability to that sword is that it can bounce back bullets that enemies shoot at you. So you can just like if someone shoots at you, you can just be like and like bounce it back and kill them. It's awesome. And then the yellow sword is a fire sword, which is cool because it like sets stuff on fire and cuts through. It sets stuff on fire and like sometimes if you and then you have a charge attack. If you hold down square and like let it go for like your normal attack, it'll like sometimes like just explode them. It's awesome. Blue sword is like the ice sword, so it's like that. It's kind of annoying though, because like you attack enemies and like they start freezing, so you don't really like cut through them all the way. You just like slash at them, and then they like turn into chunks of ice. And then there's the last sword, which is the plasma sword. It's, I didn't enjoy it. It's kind of powerful, but it's kind of hard to use. I guess it's like the expert sword because it's like you slice, but you don't like have a cha where you just like do a bunch of slices, which is really more. Another thing about this game is like super stylish and awesome looking, but like you do like this whole like cha you just push square and like smash it, it'll just like look so awesome. But you can't do that with the purple swords. You can only do it like 2 or 3 times, like cha, and then your sword shoots out these like plasma thingies, and it's like they come back to you like boomerangs. But I never really figured it out. I stopped using it. I was like, whatever, a fire sword all the way. So fire sword, red sword for me, and yeah, man, just so good. And then it's kind of like, since it is like a PS3, PS4, and like 360 and like last gen, current gen game, like you can see very, very clearly up close when you're looking at the character models that not as shinied up as it could be if it was just on PS4. But whatever, man, whatever. Like,
oh my god,
the load times are probably super faster than they are on console or last gen. I'll just keep saying last gen. And then yeah, like share button. So I was share buttoning that. I haven't got around to put it in the share factory to share it with everybody else on Facebook and YouTube yet, but it's in the works. So yeah, look forward to my Hot Ninja Action skills in Strider, and I'm streaming it. Yeah, I'm streaming it too. So yeah, share button, awesome.
That's dirty.
and I started another playthrough to get all these stuff, like the 100%, like all the upgrades and all the whatever. Yeah, and then I'll do another thingy for the under 4 hours. But yeah, and then like the very hard difficulty, which is whatever, or the harder, whatever the difficulty is that you beat it with the trophy, and it's like, oh, hardest difficulty. But yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, man, Strider, I totally give this game 2 thumbs up. Highly recommended. Tekken's art. If Tekken art review is like, this game is a ninja sword that cuts through robots and doors and wizards and crazy construction bots and all the other crazy stuff you find in this game. There's a lot of crazy. Oh, I'm not even gonna touch about like the enemies. Like the enemy and the character design in this game is so good, and like it's just so varied, and like so many enemy types, and just like, yeah, helicopters you cut through those too probably, and like, yeah, it's awesome. Just Strider, so good.
Just like that.
Just like that. So yeah, that's stuff I've been playing. Besides Strider.
Yeesh.
Infamous First Light. That game, man, really, okay, I don't know, should I call it a game or a DLC? Because it's weird, because it's like, you don't need the full game. It's just
standalone
prologue,
DLC, I
so
think, if that's how that works. It's standalone.
Okay, but yeah, it's awesome. Like, it converted me into wanting to buy Second Son. So when that's on sale, I am totally buying it. Like, if it's 20, I will get it when it's 20, 30, maybe not, but definitely when it's 20, because
just buy it now, call it a day.
I almost did RPG. I was on the PlayStation 4 on the store. I was like, Tekken, you do have a job and you have income, and
so much hard drive now.
This is no barrier to you, and you have all this hard drive space. Like, Dr. Whatcha said, it's like,
it's true. It's like you have no excuse not to be using all that space.
It's like, but what if I can't finish before Destiny comes out?
You'll be fine. It's an Infamous game. They aren't like that long.
Yeah, man.
And you still have 2 weeks, so.
I have other things.
Holy cow! Only 2 weeks.
Yes. Oh, that's the weird thing about this one was like, I was so pumped when I got home from work on Monday morning at like past midnight. I was like, all right, I can go home and play Infamous First Light. Nope, the timer was, for whatever reason, like, it was weird. I think it's because of the PSN outage or the DDoS thing, because like it probably would have been working if they had been able to do maintenance or whatever. But like because of that, it's like, oh, it's going to unlock at like 12 or noon. Yeah, I was like, what? That's okay, whatever. And then I just played Strider, but yeah, it worked out.
When was it? When was the outage anyway?
Over the weekend. I think it was Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Hmm. Weird, because my PSN has been working like all this time.
Yeah, I wasn't actually. There was a lot of weird stuff going on the internet that day. Like charter services in my area were all out, and I heard other people had charter outages too. It's like, huh. So a lot of weird internet stuff over the weekend. Whatever.
Weird.
But yeah, man, if Infamous First Light gave me the taste, and I was like, this is delicious. I want to just like pour it into a giant pitcher and drink the giant pitcher. Not a giant pitcher. Because it was just, it was like, the graphics are amazing, and like the characters are cool. Well, they're good. Okay, I'll give them, they're like not subpar, above par. And like, but yeah, it just plays really good. Like all the powers you have, and yeah, just it felt really good.
Super par.
Super par. Yes. And I liked how it tied into the whole. I felt like I knew where this character was coming from, and like the story was good. And I was like, oh, that's cool, and it was fun. And I was like, you get this giant singularity thingy that you can shoot out, and I was like, oh, singularity, like Mass Effect, but it's completely different, and just. Yeah, it's really cool when you get to use it and just suck all these enemies in and just like, and just.
Wait, what is her power now?
Well, she has these neon powers, but she has this thing you have that you can charge and like use it to like suck people in and be like, it's awesome.
How the hell does she manage that?
And then she like has this thing where you can or her name is Fetch, by the way. So Fetch has this thing where you can
Fetch.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. And then and then the cool thing is like they have like the same well, not the same, like similar like cutscenes to like the Infamous. I've only played the first one, but like when it like cuts to like the comic style of like, oh, here's a little cutscene of something. Because there's like 3 or 4 chapter breaks with this one, where you have like the beginning, stuff goes down, the next part, stuff goes down, third part stuff goes down, and then after the last part, you can either keep free roaming to like unlock all your skills, or you can go to these arenas that you get, and you can just face like waves and waves of enemies. And it's cool because like in the fiction of the game, they had it to where like the conduit that's in charge of that, like they were a fan of like fantasy games or something. So you have like a enemy type of the arena that's like a whole section of just weird fantasy enemies that you find, like wizards and demons and bats and other crazy stuff. It's pretty cool. There's like that. It's kind of like that is like another thing that they want you to go back and do after you finish the game, just to like go through and get challenges, because there's like challenges to like beat an enemy with this type of attack this many times or whatever. There's like that, a bunch of stuff like that in the game to like get you more skill points. But yeah, overall I was very impressed with it. I couldn't put it down. I was like, wow, this is really good. And then oh man, I cannot I mean, it's hard for me to like get across like how good this game looks, but it looks good because there's this part where like you start off on the second chapter and like you're on top of this building and like the draw distance is just so good, and just like you can go from like the roof to the street and like nothing. I guess this is just my first experience with like a game like this, and it just basically it passes with flying colors because like there's like no draw, or like there's no whatchamacallit? There's like no pop in, no slow down. Like I went from like above a roof. I just jumped off a building to street level and like nothing. Just like blur, like just straight up like, oh, we can handle this just fine on our PS4. And it's like, oh yeah, it's like like just that, like the performance wise, just awesome. And like this cool part where like there's this very hallucinatory stuff going on. And it was tripping. And I was like, wow, that was awesome. And oh, okay. There's also this part where like in the snow, and like this snow is not like just like any snow. This is like the best snow I've ever seen in the video game in my life. Like it is even better than like the Metal Gear Solid 4 like chapter whatever that is when you go back to Shadow Moses Island snow. I was like, whoa, the snow is like it was like, yeah, like the environment's so good. Like it's raining and you look down at the street and there's like the puddles and the water driplets are just like in the puddles, and it's just so good. And then the cutscenes. Like the cutscenes are just like the phases are just like I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like
just wow.
My infamous first light art review would be just a geyser of neon, because that would be me gushing over it, because that's how good it is. Just or not. Or I guess it wouldn't make it'd be like a gush sound. Yeah, it'd be gushing because I like this game. Like I said, I like it so much. I want to get the full version. So, Second Son, you're going to be being played by me soon, probably. So.
Wow.
So good. What else? Well, there's a bunch of cool combat stuff. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it's good. It's awesome. I guess the last thing I've been playing, Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5. Not going to talk about anything too super spoilery, but that game broke me, man. Like, it got me to a point where I couldn't even push a button. Like, that's how bad it got. Like, in this episode, I was like, I don't know what to do, man. Like I was having one of my Walking Dead fits. I'll just call it that. One of my Walking Dead fits. I'm just like, and that's all that was coming out of my mouth. I was just like, I wasn't possessed, but like I was possessed. Did I just say I was possessed? I was like, yes. Something came over me when I was playing the game, and I could not, control myself, and it was like that game, like on an emotional mental level, it just got to me. Like all Tekken was doing was just like I was under the Walking Dead spell, and it just it was a masterpiece. It was a masterful moment, and that finale, I'm not gonna say anything, but damn, just Telltale killed it, and just I cannot wait for Season 3, and just like Dr. says, so good. Like if they have another 400 Days Part 2, oh my gosh, just like see what happened to those people, man. Just and if it all ties up together, and somehow like ties it all together, of like just, there's so much opportunity here, just to, like do awesome stuff, and just just Telltale, well done. And like if you haven't played it, you need to play it, and then, like if you haven't bought it, you need to buy it. And then but yeah, this also this season, like it like solidified to me that I need to just play the full seasons when they're out, because waiting episode to episode is just like one thing, and then oh man, that is just, I think that like that but like yeah, whatever, I'm not gonna edit it, whatever, it's awesome and stuff, and I liked it, and I'm satisfied, and yeah, I will never doubt Telltale again, like ever again. Like just like Nintendo, I will never doubt them. I will never doubt Nintendo again. Like after the whole, their last E3, and like I will never doubt Telltale again. It's like I was kind of iffy after episode 4. I was like, I don't know where this is going. And like season 2, I was like, the whole time I'm like, not as good as the scenario as season 1. Where are we headed? What's going on here? Is it just about survival? Yeah, but then stuff went down, and yeah, that stuff was the most amazing stuff. And hopefully we can talk about it again sometime soon on some more episodes of the stuff, because yeah, awesomeness.
I still like playing it episode by episode, but I wish the time between episodes wasn't as long.
Yeah,
because I think with playing through the Vita version of The Walking Dead Season 1, it was sort of weird to have an episode end like the way that they do, and then immediately start playing the next one, because it was like... Because I remember the impact from playing it the first time, waiting, months in between, is like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And, there's a certain feeling, but this was just like, well, okay, that one's over, on to the next one, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, for me, I played Season 1 after all the episodes were out, and I think I just enjoy it more not having to wait in between, and just being able to just crack out. And even though it's like the worst crack out ever, because it sucks your soul out and takes you to a very dark place, and you don't want to go outside.
I like dark places.
But
It feels weekly. I think that'd be really cool.
oh man, then I would be sold. But yeah. So yeah, bring on Season 3, Telltale, and I believe that is all I've been playing. So we can.
Are you sure?
I might have played some Lego, but I got stuck, so it's not important.
There was a door, wasn't there?
There's
always a door.
Involved.
There are always doors.
There's always a door. Every game should just be co-op just for Tekken, just so someone can help him pass doors.
There's a building and a hallway. In the hallway, there are many doors. And Tekken goes,
ah! Like every horror story ever. For Tekken.
Wait, no, if it was like Red Faction, I could just shoot through the doors and yeah, no more door, because might just shot you.
That's not how video games work.
Unless there's no guns, then not. Then
unless it's Red Faction. Of course.
Unless it's Red Faction, of course.
And to a lesser extent, Battlefield. Though you can just as easily shoot through the wall next to the door on that one too. I guess Red Faction was like that. What are we talking about? Anyway, yeah.
That defeats the purpose, though.
So I have a question.
Yay.
Sort of. Have you watched any other tropes versus women videos from what's her name? Anita Sarkeesian? Yeah.
I have not.
You haven't? No. RPG, did you see the original ones?
I've seen some of them, but there were some where I was just like, well, this is stupid. And then I haven't seen like any of her recent ones, so. Did she do a recent one?
Yeah, she released a new one recently, part 2 of one that she's titled. Oh, I can't remember the title exactly. It's something like Women as Decoration.
Oh.
And it's about how in a lot of games, for some reason, there's like strip clubs in every city, and the hooker thing where it's like, oh, they're disposable, and they're objects basically. They serve the same role as the vending machines because they just give you health back. You pay them money and they give you health. I actually watched the most recent ones today. They are getting better, actually.
Oh,
I think the first ones. Well, so I realized what my problem was with them. Like the first ones, it always felt to me that she left open obvious avenues of criticism and just didn't address them. And then the way that I guess I sort of understand it, like the way that she protects herself is that she doesn't allow comments and stuff like that. So when you have these obvious criticisms that can be levied against her videos, and then you have no way of making those criticisms, then it feels well, yeah, there's just like, well, what about this? And then you lose sight of of the main argument, which is, I think, why the new ones are so much better. It's that she still doesn't go and like have the obvious counterexamples in her videos, but she's done a much better job of showing why those don't matter. So in this case, it's like, well, I guess it's hard to talk about because you guys haven't seen it.
I'm sorry. I just found what you were talking about. Found the videos though, so I will watch them.
Oh, the new ones?
Yeah, because the women is background decoration. It's 2 parts though, so that's gonna take some time.
It's very long. It's like an hour long for both.
I see that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they're a lot. I think the videos are better now because of that, but it still has not stopped the internet behaving the way they do. Apparently,
internet.
She can't go home right now.
Wait, why?
Because the threats are very scary now.
Oh, well, that's a bit extreme. So people have started like actually threatening her and stuff.
They've been doing that since the beginning.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. Why would they? Internet, seriously, you disappoint me at every turn. This is why we can't
have good things.
It's true. It really is. Like, every time. Do we have to always resort to threats every time we don't agree with something? I mean, it's like, it's stupid. And it's kind of like probably proving her point somewhat, because some of these people making these threats are probably the same people who are like okay with some of these things, and it's like instead of just providing counterexamples or saying why you disagree, you have to go through the troubles like, yeah, I'm gonna come and kill you or something in your sleep, because that's the right way to go about it. Good job, guys. Good job. Because people are
bad. But yeah, like the main point about those characters. Well, so I'm wondering now, it's like, is prostitution the problem? Like in game, like virtual prostitution, or is it?
I was just about to say, you mean like the real prostitution?
Nah. Or is it that they have no backstory? See, that's the thing. Like, you're objectified if you only serve that one purpose, and you're easily interchangeable. Like every other prostitute character in the game is exactly the same thing. They may look different, but they all have the same, like, it doesn't matter which one you run into.
Although I think people would still have a problem even if they did have like a backstory. Because I think there's also a trope out there that's like the hooker with the heart of gold thing or something too, which is still a thing. But I think people still would have problem with it for the fact that it's like, well, why is like the only developed female character in this game or whatever a hooker in the first place? Even if she is like developed and have all this depth and reason for why she's doing it, it's like she's still a hooker. So,
well, for example, like The Wolf Among Us, and have you played through that yet?
I have, because I was gonna. I was actually gonna mention that too, because I was like, because they have like semi-prostitutes in that game, and
yeah, but it's. Well, I would be very curious to see is there a problem with these characters?
It would
okay, I have a question. Like, couldn't you make the argument though that they're not, since they like are offset by characters like Snow and Beauty, who are in characters of esteem and privilege?
Well, I think that's the thing too. It's like you're always going to have the counter examples, but the fact of the matter is they still exist, and there's no. I think because there's like no real male counterpart to them, that it's even more of a problem. Because then it's like they only have this specific role to fill, and they they don't have, I guess, like a.
Well, like part of the problem that she said is that it's the objectification part. And so, on some level, it's like, well, prostitutes are sort of objectified by default because
they're prostitutes.
Yeah, they're like commodifying themselves.
Profession, yeah.
But then, on the other hand, like the the characters in The Wolf Among Us, they aren't defined by that. You know, they don't serve no purpose other than being objectified. Right? Like
it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I was say Nerissa would be like the main character.
Nerissa's a main character. That is but one aspect of.
But when you think about it, though,
right?
said aspect is kind of a major plot point when you think about how the story kind of like unfolds with the hotel and everything. It's like that aspect of her character is kind of like important, because had she not been in that profession, then like a lot of this stuff couldn't have even happened to begin with. So it's like it is kind of like a defining trait for her when you think about it, because without it, then you don't have all the shenanigans that were going on in The Wolf Among Us. That particular job actually caused a lot more problems for everyone in that town than you would think. So, yeah. So despite the fact that she is a main character, I mean, the fact that she's a prostitute is still kind of like important to it. Because actually, as a matter of fact, like, because the whole murder mystery is almost centered around it. So,
I feel bad. I don't remember her name. The girl with the ribbon. What was her name?
I don't remember her name either.
Vivian.
Vivian. Yeah.
Vivian. That's right. Oh, it's been a long time.
It's been like a few weeks.
Did she just run the place, or was she also?
She was like the hostess. He said he wouldn't, or apparently Georgie wouldn't let her do that because he liked her, so he did not allow her to, because she was his main chick. Because that's how that works. So she only had to be the hostess instead of the hoe.
RPG.
I'm just saying. I mean, you're all thinking it.
I was not thinking that.
But yeah, no, she did not have to do that.
See, because like part of the decoration part is also talking about how the women are the other purpose they serve is just sort of they are a sort of cheap shortcut to adding like edginess to something, I guess, that would not be edgy otherwise.
Like how?
So like I don't like The Wolf Among Us. If they had been like office ladies, it will.
Like office.
Yeah, I guess.
That is hilarious. Because now I have that image in my head.
Or if they had like all worked at McDonald's or something. That's a down on your luck type job, right?
I mean, that's kind of offensive to all, but I mean, huh? Because I mean,
Well, okay, if they had Mick jobs.
if they had what jobs?
Don't they call them Mick jobs? Jobs that aren't really jobs.
What is a job that's not really a job?
Okay, I get what you're trying to say, Tropical. So you don't like drive down this line any further than you need to. I understand what you're trying to say. Like because oh my god, I'm almost concerned about where you're gonna end up in this train. So let me just stop you while you're ahead. But yeah, I guess you like if they were in like just another not as respectable job kind of that.
Yeah,
we won't
they're
name
just like.
Because otherwise
They're working really long hours and not making ends meet, like those kind of jobs.
Yeah. I mean, it could still. I mean, considering the stuff that was going on, though, I mean, there were people getting murdered. I mean, they didn't really need to be edgy, so to speak. I mean, it's just. I don't know. I feel like. I don't know. I really don't know how to answer it. Because, I mean, my thing is...
Just thinking is, like, if they had been in some other profession that also was, like, we're sort of trapped, we're never getting out of this type stuff, would it have been a lesser story?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because, I mean, I think it, as a matter of fact, although that particular type of profession kind of works in
But yeah, like, it allowed Crane to like be super creepy. He'd be like, ooh.
Like he needed help with that. But it's like...
I guess even more creepy.
I think because jobs like in that specific type of profession is known for having like people difficult getting outside of like I guess like being in gangs or something. It's like it's like
they're not really meant to be 9 to 5 people, for like a better term.
Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like it's like yeah sure. I don't even want to say it seems glamorous because it really didn't. But it's
I don't know, neon light now.
I know, right? Because I'm trying to think of a way to word it that doesn't make it sound. Because it's like it's kind of like one of those things where it's like a job that it seems like okay, yeah, it's pretty easy money, and you get to. And I mean, how hard can it be? It's like you're having sex for money. Everyone loves sex. Blah 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 is what people always say. But then you think about it, and it's like there's always the risk of you ending up with like a violent client, which I mean this game showed, and it's like you have like, and it's the risk of disease and all this other stuff, and it's like it's not as quote unquote fun as you would think just from the outside, and I think that particular profession kind of works in that scenario because it's kind of like a back and forth whenever it's portrayed in the media because you always have the one side where it's like, yeah, this is awesome, and then you have the other side where it's like, yeah, my pimp's beating me every other day, and this is not fun at all. So it just kind of, I think it's just like an easy fallback because it's, I guess it would be easier to show someone being able to not get out of that than like if you said like if they did work in like McDonald's, you can get out of a job like that. You can leave whenever the hell you want. So it's not like you're trapped. You can just do something else. But like with jobs like that, oftentimes they really are trapped and can't. There's like nothing you can do to get out of it.
It's more aggressive, overt trapping.
Yeah. So it kind of worked for what it was used for. But I don't know. But in the same sense, though, you can't really consider any of them like background decorations, though, because like you said, she was a main character, so it's like a large.
Well, actually, so two things, like what Tekken was saying about Crane, like that allowed them to show Crane as being creepy. Like that's one of the things that she talks about, where it's like, these women characters and like violence against women is often used as sort of a quick, easy way to show how evil a person is.
Well, I mean,
I think
part of that though
is it still like would have worked in like a different scenario, just like not have been as explicit.
I don't know. I think part of it is not just the games though. It's like it's kind of like society at like in general, because it's not just in video games. Women in like normal lives and stuff are always treated as like the weaker sex. So of course they're gonna use violence against a woman as a device to be like, well, this person is especially bad because usually if a guy's getting beat up or something, people are usually just like, I don't care, it's just some dude getting beat up. But it's like if a woman's getting beat up, everybody's like, oh, that's terrible. You shouldn't do that because women are defenseless and they can't take care of themselves and stuff, because that's just the way society has been, drilling that into people's brain, regardless of whether it's true or not. Because it's like that's just kind of the stigma that's associated around the genders.
That's actually one of the criticisms she actually addresses, where she says, like, yeah, a lot of people make the argument that red light districts or hookers walking around, then they wouldn't be realistic enough. And she's like, that's sort of a crazy argument, isn't it? Because, I mean, you're talking about a Elder Scrolls Skyrim, a world that is filled with like dragons and lizard people and magic, and you're arguing that if there weren't prostitutes around, it wouldn't be realistic?
Yes, because everyone says prostitution is the oldest profession. Apparently, it's been everywhere since everything has ever started. So,
I think like in the end, the argument she makes is that it's not about what do people think it's about? Well, what it's like arguably you could say it's like, well, Grand Theft Auto, it does have some of those fictional elements like health and stamina bars that work in the way that they do, but so like not thinking about any of those things, that yeah, maybe prostitutes walking around a major metropolitan area is realistic, but if we constantly put them into games and it sort of becomes, yeah, like what you were saying, sort of this de facto way that people think about cities and stuff like that, then, and ultimately these things are works of fiction, it becomes a sort of like we can't imagine a world without them, and so we can never really, that's detrimental to the way that we think.
Yeah. Although I don't think, I mean, yeah.
Wow, yeah. Now I'm thinking a lot about Wolf Among Us, and it's like, Well, I guess the part that I sort of disagree, or not disagree, but always gets my knee-jerk reaction is she always calls designers lazy for using these things. And I'm just like, come on, I don't think they're lazy. It's just that they didn't really think about it. And, that's one of the good things that has come out of the videos. It's just that, like, whether you really agree or disagree with them or not, like, you are thinking about it in a way that you probably never did before.
I don't know if I would call it lazy though. That's
like I don't think
I
I
can understand.
lazy.
I can understand why you would have that reaction, because it's just like
I don't even think they thought about it. They were just like, we'll do this thing. The prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto 4 or any, like, since 3, I think they put it in and they thought this is kind of a funny thing, and did not really think about, this is sort of serious implications and all that.
I mean, it kind of worked for me for like the Wolf Among Us, because like these are like my childhood fairy tale characters and stuff in these situations. So it's kind of just like I kind of like it was a bit more jarring to just like,
but it's
hey,
like,
these people's like, so I think while
I'm the Little Mermaid, now I'm a stripper.
No, sure. But at the same time though, it kind of, like, the whole prostitution thing aside, it kind of, like, the scenario itself kind of is like, it is somewhat realistic when you, if you're like familiar with like living in bigger cities, where a lot of the times people move out to places or go to places thinking like it's easy to, just snap up a good job and just be, well off and everything, without realizing that living like on your own, and especially in places where you don't know people and everything, it's really hard and it's like really expensive. And a lot of times you have to kind of take what you can get as soon as you can, because you can't just wait around for your big break or whatever. So even though she says, or she may call it like lazy, or says it's like an easy thing to go to, part of it is because it's kind of like a thing that happens. Like it would have been, it's kind of hard for them to like find a situation where it's like you could actually present, I guess, like the same type of what's the word I'm looking for? That it's like means dire, but it's like specifically for I can't think of the word now. But it's like it's kind of like it kind of shows like how dire the situation is, like when somebody's like fallen on hard times and they're just like desperate to do, and it's like you're just desperate to do like anything that you, and I think that kind of somewhat it is kind of portrayed somewhat realistically in situations like that, because when you see
from the homelands or whatever.
Yeah, because even when you see characters like Belle, who isn't a stripper or prostitute in this particularly, but like because she's so used to living a certain type of way, and she was expecting everything to, I guess, just be okay, because there's like, yeah, we're we're royalty where we are.
That's
so
how
I
it's
mean,
always been
everything's
for us.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, and I think it's kind of true that people do fall into these jobs, especially, and unfortunately, especially women. They end up in jobs like this because they don't really have other outlets to, just jump into so readily, especially when, there's men taking up other high level jobs and stuff, because that's kind of the society we live in, unfortunately. So it's a thing. So I it's I wouldn't say it's like, I think depending on how it's portrayed, it can be considered lazy. But if they like go through the trouble of actually, just delving into it, it can actually be, or like executed quite well, instead of just being, it's like, yep, this is just a prostitute giving you some health, and we're done with it.
Like,
But
I think in Grand Theft Auto, it's not lazy. It's probably thoughtless, maybe in some ways. Thinking about The Wolf Among Us now, like I'm not really sure. Like I'm thinking about, was it exploitative? Like did they do this just for shock value? One of the things she says in her video is that, yeah, like she's not saying that you can't have these types of scenarios in games, but simply replicating how it is in the real world, that's not commentary. Like replicating is just replicating. Like saying that showing a bad thing is bad is, you're not, it's not additive at all.
But I mean, and that's another thing too, though. It's like, is it necessarily, it's bad in, I mean, through some people's eyes. I mean, some people might be okay with it, and some people in the profession might be okay with it. It might not be. It's one of those things, like it's only labeled bad because, of other people's own sense of like ethics and stuff, where they consider something bad, but when you realize it's like they're working just like the rest of us. They may not do something you agree with, but I mean, you have to pay your bills and people are paying for it. So it's just one of the aspects of life. And I mean, I've been to like some high end bars before, and some of the women there you would not know are in that profession. So it's like, it's one of those things where you kind of have to, you can't just label something bad because you don't agree with it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if I would agree with like a statement like that, or just saying like it's like a.
No, like she didn't use the words bad or I'm just saying, like if like showing a cookie and saying this is a cookie, like there's no point. Like that's just like, okay. So it's sort of like that situation, like putting prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto just because they're prostitutes in the real world doesn't say anything about that. I guess. So, but yeah,
I think that the problem with Grand Theft Auto is like it's kind of like a worse situation, just because they're in if not every game, they're in so many, and then like you have that in the juxtaposition of like there's such a lack of female characters in that game that are like main characters or like supporting characters, or just, and then like you have like you only see them as like the hookers and strippers in the game.
Yeah.
So it just like reinforces like the negative girlfriend of yeah.
I think, well, I mean, we all know, like, the real problem is not, like, they shouldn't be going out and telling men, hey, you need to write more women characters. Like, that makes no sense. Like, people should write what they want. The problem is, it's all one people who are doing the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they kind of have to write what they know, I guess. And
yeah, like I don't think it makes any sense for people to write what they don't know just
for the sake of doing it.
Audiences, yeah, I was like, that's crazy.
Because then you'd be complaining that it's like, well,
not as good, or
exactly,
not right, yeah.
And it's like, well, there's just no pleasing you, so yeah.
I mean, that's like my problem is like I agree with that, but it's like at the same time I'd like to see them try to write different characters, even if it's like at the expense of like not having, not at the expense of like having a non-developed character. It's just like just try to write a good character and then not worry about like what type of character that we're writing, and then this is going to be a character.
Yeah,
Like if you look at like Far Cry 4, it's like, yeah, there's like an Asian protagonist, but it's like, did they probably take that into account? Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
Or Nepal or whatever they're going back to, like where they were born or so,
Her other video that's come out in the intern is something called the Ms. Male Character Phenomenon.
Oh, that one I
think
have
is what she named
watched.
it. Did you watch that one?
That one I have watched, yeah.
It was basically about how a lot of female characters in games are basically
Just the male
marked versions of male
I
characters.
think
So
I
like
watched part of that one. I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
it's like Miss Pac-Man is Pac-Man
Yeah.
with a bow. And all these characters are just whatever other character with a bow. And then I don't remember what the conclusion was there. I think that one was just like it was more like her earlier video series where it was just here's an example of this and this and this, or here's an example of this and another example and another example and another example. And when you do it that way, then it's just like, well, what about all the
Exactly.
counterexamples? And then you can't point them out because comments are allowed.
Well, in defense of that one though, if she's been getting threats, I wouldn't allow comments either.
Yeah, I guess. I understand it, and I think it sort of sucks because it's like it would be awesome to engage on this and just like be able to like the Wolf Among Us thing. Like right now, I can't really think about it on the fly and tell either way. It's like, was it a good portrayal or was it not? I don't know, but
Well,
yeah, her newer videos, it feels much more like, yes, of course there are counterexamples, but they don't matter. Like the issue is this thing, and this is why this is a problem. And it's like, oh, okay, see, that is a much stronger argument than just saying this happens in games. Look at it here. Look at it here. Look at it here. It's like.
I'm actually trying to think of some Miss Male characters like outside of Miss Pac-Man right now. I'm trying to go blank right now. It's like
The thing that I noticed today was and I just saw this article which just blew my mind. Hello Kitty is not a cat. Hello Kitty is a cartoon character, and she is a little girl she's British apparently.
with cat ears and whiskers, because
It is sort of also at the end it was like Hello Kitty has no mouth. She speaks from the heart. And
oh dear,
it's not in any language. And if you look at the character, yeah, Hello Kitty has no mouth. It's like this is insane. Like, wow, I never knew that so much thought went into that character. But yeah, like going to the Miss Male character thing, Hello Kitty I think is the first one, right? Like her male counterpart exists because Hello Kitty exists.
She has a male counterpart?
Yeah, I forget his name. But the difference is he doesn't have a bow, and he wears like pants and like a shirt. And it was sort of weird, like because I was thinking today she was talking about like the Miss Male character is just the male character with lots of typical female type
Girly
accessories.
things.
Yeah, it's like a bow or a dress or wearing pink or is pink in color. And Hello Kitty is sort of, or what she talked about was like males are never marked as males. Like there are things that are typically you would think of as male, like ties is the only thing I can think of right now.
I love ties, and that's where that ends.
And then yeah, so it was like, and so they're not marked usually, which means that they're usually marked with like things that develop their character. And the girl characters are they're just the girl, and so everyone else is like male is de facto in that type of world. And then I saw the thing about Hello Kitty is like, so because he came second, like, is he marked by the absence? Like, you can be marked by the absence of something, right?
Yeah, I guess because people would be like, yeah, he's just Hello Kitty without the bow or something,
Yeah,
or
basically.
something like, yeah. Hmm. Although I feel like, hmm, I, I don't think that would be like the only one though, would it? Because when you think about it, I mean, even though I guess the Miss Mail thing was a thing, I think it works in reverse as well too. Because I think there have been times, and at least in games that I've played, I've seen like there'll be like male characters who were essentially just male versions of female characters that came before them, or this happens in like or girl heavy, or when it's like a heavy female cast in something, like the male counterparts will typically be just male versions of.
I'm trying to think of, like, I can't think of any at the moment.
Because there's like, well, let me see, like TV show wise. I mean, I think there's things like crap. Crappity crap. Wait, like the Powerpuff Girls, for instance, had
the Ruddy Rough Boys or whatever.
Yeah,
oh, really?
They were like male counterparts of the female trio, and like each of them, I guess, had like a malified version of the girls. But which would technically count as I guess Mr. Female version, which whatever is the opposite version of the Ms. Male thing, or the Mr. Female version of them, or even in like I'm trying to think. I feel like if I had more time to prepare for this, like she did, I would be able to be able to call out all of this stuff. It's like, damn it, I have to do this on the fly. But even like, let's see, in like Final Fantasy, for instance, one of the newer introduced characters, what the hell's his name? Noel. He's more or less like a male version of Fang. Although strangely enough, she started off as a male, so that I don't know if that counts or not. But she ended up female.
Oh, really? Fang started out as a male character?
Apparently, the original plan was to have her as like a male, but then they changed it last minute because, for one, I think they said they didn't want to. I think because they already had like so many males in the cast or something, and then I think something or not, and also because I think is like one of the only other females in the group would have technically been the bad guy outside of Lightning, so I think they switched her to alleviate to, but that kind of like explains kind of like some of their interactions throughout the game, because it's kind of implied that they might be intimate, and it's like, they are both women, so that's a thing. But then when people found out that she was initially male, or they were initially going to conceive her as male, and then they changed it partway through, and it's like, yeah, we'll make her a chick, and then that stuck. But yeah, like I was saying, Noel is technically like a male version of her, so there's that. And I mean, I don't know. The type of games I play don't really lend themselves to.
Yeah, like I think your type of games, it's harder to draw those types of parallels because the game is much longer. They have much more opportunity to flesh out every single character, and they're not going to make two of the same character because I don't know, they just don't do that.
Because it just wouldn't make sense, I guess.
Yeah, but like with Mario, it's like you have very little time in Mario to sort of flesh out the story.
Is there a female version of...
like the story is fleshed out at all in any of the Mario games, Tropical.
Sort of. Galaxy kind of had a story.
But they don't... But
After
I don't think
20 years, yeah.
There was like the story book.
It only took them 20 years to be like, oh, we should probably go for story this time.
But they don't have like a Miss version of Mario, though. So it's not really...
Yeah, there's no female version of Mario. But like Toad has they introduced Toadette later.
Oh yeah, they did do that, and she is also characterized by her.
She's pink.
I think she has pigtails too.
I didn't even know there was a Toadette until you just said that. So
well, that's because she only appears in like the racing games and stuff, and like the side stuff. She's not, and I think it's just like a recent introduction too. So
I clearly have not played a recent game.
It's pretty new
because
yeah, basically according to the video, so what this does is that, like, all of the mushroom people, when you introduce Toadette, it sort of implies that every other Toad you've seen ever was male, even though there really wasn't any reason to assume that. It's the
Well, I mean, how often do you see Toads? There's usually just like the one. It's not like
well, yeah,
hasn't
but that was
been,
the thing. It's like it's
trillions of
the
them or anything.
someone else coined it, the Smurfette.
The Smurfette.
Like Smurfette is the only female Smurf in
I should point out
all
there
of
that
the
is not true
Smurfs.
though. There are actually several female Smurfs.
Oh, really?
She's just the most no.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen enough Smurfs then.
You have not.
But like Angry Birds was like that too. It's like they're basically round shapes with different colors and beaks, and we called them Angry Birds. And then when they introduced a pink female Angry Bird, then it in some ways automatically made all the rest of them male.
Really? I don't see how that can be the case when it's not explicitly stated.
Well, like not the entire.
Depending on the
you mean, like,
situation.
the entire species,
Yeah.
or. Well, yeah, like it's not talking about the entire species, like because
Just
that
more that they
exists
introduced that.
outside the realm of
Yeah.
the creator's imagination, or I don't know, like outside of the realm of canon, I guess is what it would be.
It just more
But, like,
retroactively makes
Yeah,
them.
it's like all the characters that you have seen before. That means that they were all male.
Hmm. Well, none of them were pink, so.
Here's one for you, Tekken. You probably, I don't know if you saw this part of the video, but it was like, people say that FemShep was the better shepherd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she did go on like this whole.
Yeah, and they call her
Skill
FemShep, which means that shepherd is the default one, right? So the male shepherd is the default one, and FemShep is not the default because she has a prefix to her shepherd.
Whatever, dude.
Not to mention that she hasn't
Right?
shown up in the the promo media as often as the male guy too. I think she pointed out as well.
So it's like
She
when
was-
people call her FemShep, like it's not derogatory or anything. It's like, yeah, FemShep. But then, when you look at it, it's like, well, that means that shepherd is default, and FemShep, like female shepherd, has to have a qualifier added to her name. Like, but in the game, like she's just shepherd.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, it's sort of a subconscious, a pervasive subconscious type thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Although in Mass Effect, though, a lot of the females don't have, stuff like that. Like,
but
bows
there's
and
no
all that
male
stuff.
versions of them.
There could be.
And
There could
the thing is, like, that's
Well-
not really the point. Like, the point is in, this example shows something. And it doesn't matter that there are counterexamples. It's just that this shows, this is a symptom of a greater problem, perhaps.
Hmm. That may just depend on the type of game or something.
I don't know, dude. It's weird because, like, I know we talked about this before, but it's like it's weird, like when you notice it, but then like there's there's a certain game that does that, but then like no other like games media outlet like picks up on it or like says anything about it. Like for like Rain when they're like, well, you had to save the girl, so was it a damsel in distress? Like nobody talked about that.
Yeah, like I don't think it's supposed to be this sort of accusatory thing. Which, I think the first few videos felt like it was more like that, where it was like, oh, Miyamoto is lazy. Look what he always does. Peach is just damsel, and then they did a big PMS joke for her solo outing, and it's just like, it felt like, it just seemed like this is all about blaming the game industry and like blah blah blah, and like, that was just very. It didn't help, I think, what the videos are trying to accomplish. And the more and more I see of them, like they're getting better in that. It's like, yeah, that's not really the point. The point is like this exists.
Okay, so just like more like raising awareness and like making the viewer aware and like questions.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. And I think it's. If people, I don't understand. Like the internet mentality is weird, but the thing is, like, there actually is no internet mentality. It's all individuals. So, and yes, I understand that mob mentality exists, but pull yourself away from that and. Yeah, just like I think the awareness is good. I think developers will look at it and just be sort of like, huh.
So that's the thing, though, is like it's so weird because like it feels like it's better, but then you have like the Assassin's Creed Unity thing happen, and it's like, oh, we couldn't afford that. Oh, it takes too much time. It's like just like, then it's like progress. Not so much. Like you have Clementine and what was the other game? Last of Us DLC when you get to play as whatchamacallit? Ellie. It's like, oh, okay, maybe progress. But then it's like Assassin's Creed Unity, no female characters in the multiplayer. It's like, ew. Thanks, Ubisoft. Thanks.
So, but yeah, like I think as an awareness thing, defining things is allows you to be able to talk about them. Otherwise, you have no words. And so she's doing that. Like she's coining terms for this sort of stuff. And then like some of like The Wolf Among Us, I would not even really have thought about that. Like Grand Theft Auto is sort of an obvious example, and I think that was another problem with her earlier videos. Is like all the examples were really obvious, and it's like, did you do any work for this? Like these are all the ideas. If I had this topic, these are all of the examples that I would just pull off the top of my head. Like no research required. But the newer ones, like it feels more not so obvious, and so it feels like, oh yeah, see, like this one, and then it getting called out is like, oh, I would not have thought about it that way. Like that's sort of interesting. Although I guess Wolf Among Us, that was our own, like we just pulled that one out.
You're welcome.
Look how game cultured we are. So yeah. I don't have any conclusions here. That this is the thing that's going on, so
yeah, well,
we should. I think the awareness is good.
I mean, it can be, but then if people become too aware, then it might.
I'm not gonna say there's like anything bad about awareness. I just think sometimes it makes me like be more aggressive against stuff. Like we were talking about like the whole we should have characters that are like developed, but not like at the cost of like having a crappy character. And then like when the Deep Down thing came out, and I was like jumping all over that, maybe I overreacted, whatever. But there can be consequences if you are feeling like certain groups are not represented enough.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I just because it's always going to be a write what you know kind of scenario, and a lot of guys are writers, and a lot of them don't know how to write women, so it's not like it's just a thing until if you get more women on teams so they can kind of chime in and be like, yeah, this is not a thing, let's work this around or something. It's just gonna keep popping up
Yeah.
regardless, 'cause it's like it's
Like
just
I would rather have people write what they know, like what RPG is saying. And so, the problem isn't that men don't write good women characters. That is sort of I think that's sort of to be expected. Is like, well, they're men.
yeah, it's like
They're not women.
and women are always talking about how guys don't understand them or couldn't, and it's like, well, then how do you expect them to, write a good character if they don't understand them? So put some
Yeah.
women on those teams and, maybe they can help out and, make
So
those characters that you're
I
looking for.
think people should be able to write what they want. Um, regardless really of how it makes other people feel, to an extent anyway. But maybe that means that people should sort of detach, look at everything you see critically and not really be like, that's part of the awareness. Like, if you have an awareness that these things are happening, then you don't sort of get sucked into that. Well, I see, they're everywhere in Grand Theft Auto, so that's sort of okay and normal, and like that's how I'm going to live in the real world. Also, I was like, be smart. They look really good, they have things in common with the real world, but they're not the real world. And of course I'm talking about games.
Obviously.
All right. Happy time. It's the news. Next week starts the September release for the Instant Game Collection, PlayStation Plus. If you don't have it yet, why? Oh, actually, probably you don't have a PlayStation. That's probably why. So, in September, it is for the AAA people. I think they're sort of upset, as shown by the 2.44 out of 5 on the blog post for this.
Oh my. I was kind of disappointed when I saw it too, though, and I was like, eh. But I mean, they're still free games, though. It's like you can't be mad about what, but they're like none of them are like in a genre I would play, so I would not.
Some of the games are older. Some of the games are, well, I think because they're older, I have them, and that's why I'm disappointed.
Then there's that.
But there's some really good stuff. Velocity 2X, which has been really hyped in the PlayStation indie scene for a while now. Everyone's talking Game of the Year, so I don't know. Velocity was good, but we will see. Sports Friends, that one I have it. And the problem I see with that one is that it's local multiplayer only. So a lot of people who have no local multiplayer friends, then it's like, you can't even play that one. Unless firmware 2.0 comes out with SharePlay. So fingers crossed. PS3, you get PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Which I already have.
Yeah, me too.
I don't, so yeah, I can finally play it.
Yay! RPG, let's go, Pwn noobs.
Yeah.
As they join the community. Horde, which was this action sort of strategy game where you play a dragon and you fly around and burn villages and try to collect gold and kidnap people. I don't know. Dragon-y stuff. It reminds me of a board game, actually. Joe Danger for PS Vita. That's brand new, coming out, and so that's also free. That's cool. And then the weird game that I've mentioned a few times on the podcast, TXK, with the weird music and visual feedback, but yeah, it's a shooter. It's I guess it's a space shooter, but instead of shooting up, you shoot inward. It's weird. But since, yeah, you guys have Vitas, you check it out. You will know what I've been talking about. Yeah. So that's PlayStation Plus for September. PAX is this week. I will be going to that. So I've decided what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna roam the expo hall floor for 2 days. I looked at panels and stuff like that. It's like, I don't care about any of these. And so I'm just gonna go around and look at people's wares. And so far, I know like the Order 1886.
Yeah,
that will be playable. So at least one thing that I've never played yet. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff, so that'll be interesting.
You should steal it.
This is a weird one. So Bandai Namco and the Pokemon Company are collaborating on a fighting game.
That was weird.
Coming to Japanese arcades called Pokken.
Get it? Get it? It's basically what they were saying. It's like, oh my
It's a
gosh.
Pokemon fighting game. Coming to Japanese arcades in 2015. No consoles or international releases have been talked about yet.
Well, part of it is because arcades are mostly dead here, and they probably wouldn't bother with a console release for something like that.
Wouldn't they? Doesn't the Wii U need games?
But a Pokemon fighting game when there's already Pokemon out, they could just make a full-fledged Pokemon and sell billions of copies for the Wii U. It's like, what's even the point?
I would play Pokken. Looks funny.
Get it! Get it! I just feel like that's the joke they were going for. Every time someone says the name, they're like, get it! Get it! It's like, oh my gosh, guys. It sounds like an interesting concept, but at the same time, it's like, this is more or less what you're doing in a Pokemon game anyway. Except without the, walking around and getting attacked by Team Rocket randomly.
Control-wise, it's going to be really different. Mostly. Graphically, probably really different.
See, I think it's weird because, like, why wouldn't they just come out with another Battle Coliseum game? But whatever.
How did that one play? I don't remember at all.
I wanted
Is
to
that
get
the
it
one
on the
where
Wii,
you?
but I didn't, so I didn't get a chance to play it.
Oh.
Is that the one where you
You
put
put
in
your Pokemon from your handheld, and you get the.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think I've played
There's
it
one on
at
the
demo
64 and there's
station.
one on the Wii.
Yeah.
So I had the 64 one. My
I
youngest
played that
brother
one.
was really into
really
it.
fun.
Because I thought it was a cool concept at first. I was like, yo, I could just plug in my Pokemon in here and it could just do battle in 3D. This is the best idea ever! But then I didn't get it, so that happened. So that happened.
Somewhere in there's another missed opportunity by Nintendo to just be like, oh, we could just have these side games that you could use your
There's
Pokemon
always these
from
opportunities
your
from
Pokemon
Nintendo.
deck.
That they could make trillions upon trillions of dollars off of. It's like, nope, we refuse. Because why would we do something like that? So,
Because we don't think with that side of our brain here at Nintendo.
yeah.
Crazy. What they are doing that I think is really smart and have totally got me in is
I gotta
they're
disagree.
selling
I gotta disagree.
they're selling DLC for Mario
I
Kart.
keep seeing people gush all over the place about this. It's like, dude, it's Mario Kart.
I've had the opposite
really.
reaction because I was like, remember when Nintendo didn't know what DLC was, and now it's like, now it's just a flood of DLC, and I was like, what
A Flood really RPG? It's two things. It's
well,
not,
no, because they had,
Well,
I mean, two
yeah,
packs.
I feel like the flood is coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll
But
see. We'll see on that chapter call.
They are pretty well positioned for it because they have stuff like that. It's the franchise thing. You are already in love with the characters.
See, everybody's
so now,
already
every time
inflating
you
their
see them-
expectations of, oh, Nintendo's going to deliver us to the promised land with this DLC magical awesomeness.
But yeah, they announced
licensed DLC, and now it's starting with their own personal thingies.
2
DLC.
of their own licensed DLCs for Mario Kart 8. Basically, Legend of Zelda and Animal Crossing.
This whole thing is cool.
To,
I mean, if they could add more characters, that'd be pretty cool.
Mario Kart.
However, I would still
for free.
not buy it. Yeah.
I sat there and was like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, Mario Kart has always just been Mario characters, so... Oh man, I think they got me.
Do a tropical.
See, here's another missed opportunity. Like, instead of like having Mario Kart and then like diluting it with other characters, they should just like spin it off to its own thing and be like Nintendo Kart, and then have their all characters in that game instead of like.
It could just be
here's
Mario
DLC
Kart
dudes.
All Stars or something. I mean,
Or that, whatever. Doesn't matter what the name is.
All Star the game.
I mean, I'd love a Hyrule Castle track. Just saying. Or
I think they are actually adding that in one of the map packs for the DLC.
Corneria and Fox Team Star Fox all in cards. But this is probably something we're not going to get, which is why I'm not getting my hopes up, which is why I completely disagree with Tropical.
Oh, you will. But it's just going to be more DLC.
Because
the flood is coming. The flood is coming.
Yeah. It's nice to want things.
Because don't worry, once Smash Brothers hits and it's like, oh, all this fun DLC we have for this, and then they're gonna roll out their little figurine things, and that's only gonna snowball and avalanche.
Tekken, are you talking about DLC as being good?
No, I'm just saying like existing at all, coming from Nintendo on a regular basis. But then
and that would be
I'd also
a
say
good
it's not
thing,
good anything.
or
it would. I'm conflicted. I kind of like the old Nintendo on this, where it's like, we're not gonna. Well, I'm conflicted. Like, I'm conflicted, dude. I think it's like, both good and bad as far as like, you get new stuff, but it's at a cost of, oh, you've already paid for the game, so bend over and give us your money.
Because it's even worse now, because like you're so used to Nintendo not doing this for like ever, and
they've
now
already had like DLC stuff for some of the 3DS stuff, like Mario Golf, and like, oh, you want Baby Bowser in your game? You know what to do. So yeah.
The internet has changed Nintendo. It's changed them.
So I guess that's like one of the cool things about Diablo is that there's been one expansion, but most of the stuff that's changed in Diablo, they just did as part of the cost of you buying Diablo the first time.
Except the fact that you still bought it like 3 times after that.
Wow. No accounting for personal craziness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like some games, like Gran Turismo 6, there's been a ton of DLC and it's all been free, and then, other stuff is like, oh, Call of Duty, you want these skins? You want these maps? So it's like, you don't know which side of the coin Nintendo's on yet, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the, free DLC dudes, because we love you so much.
I guess that's true. Like, I like the DLC itself. I don't know that I like the extra cost part. Like the DLC stuff for Mario Kart 8, like it sounds. Well, actually, now after Tekken had the karting, like Nintendo carts idea, like actually that sounds cooler. Because Nintendo's best stuff is their mechanics. So if you had, like what you were saying, Team Fox, and there were actual like team maneuvers and stuff you could do in Nintendo carts, that'd be so cool.
Because I mean, Sega already gave it a try.
I know, right?
And their mascots aren't even as strong as Nintendo's are, so it's like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
But like people like those games mechanically, so. Anyway, yeah. Well, this is news, and that is coming. So that's news. Ha.
Oh, there was actually some somewhat breaking news before the podcast about good old games. Well, they're called GOG. GOG.com. It's not GOG. GOG.com.
GOG.
They've expanded their library to include movies, DRM free, which is surprising, but they're starting with documentaries. However, I gotta say, dudes and ladies, if you're listening, that Like it's all like right now the ones that they rolled out were documentaries about like video games or digital lifestyle. So they're all worth checking out. Like a lot of them I've seen, and I recommend like all of them. Definitely check out like Playing Columbine. That's like really good. There's another one on there that looks like it's a follow up to King Kong that I want to buy. I'm gonna eventually get all of them because, well, not all of them, but some I've seen like once or twice on like Netflix or Hulu, and they're not worth it. Like the chasing, or not chasing ghosts, but there's one about people that go to Gen Con. It's interesting, but it's not worth my money. And then I bought one. There's two that you get for free if you already have an account there. And the one I bought was, let me look it up, but it looked really good. It's like really recent because that was like the date it came out was like August 2014. What's it called? It is called Pixel Poetry, and it's basically just like a bunch of people gushing all over video games and like why they're art, and you should play them and they're beautiful. And then the two free ones you get are The Art of Playing and then TPB AFK, the Pirate Bay Away from Keyboard. But yeah, I'm really excited about this because I love documentaries, so especially about video games and stuff. So I'm all in on this.
Cool. What is that one about? The Pirate Bay one? Is it about Pirate Bay?
It's free. I don't know. I haven't watched it, and I didn't watch the trailer. And they all have trailers too, so you can just like click on it and then watch the trailer. But since it was free, I was like, oh well, okay, free. Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's cool. What else? Oh, I guess some not really industry-wide news. OST, the gamer radio station that I've been working on, is probably gonna die on Thursday.
No!
So that's sad. But the last week or so, it's been really exciting. I've just been adding a lot of stuff, and there were more people listening, so that was really cool. Originally, I was just gonna say, well, if it dies on Thursday, then that's it. Like, I gave it my best shot, and that's it. But the more I've listened, and I've listened to it a lot myself recently too, and it's just like I still think the idea is really cool, and so at some point, not too far after it dies, it will be resurrected. I just have to figure out how to make it the way that I want it to be with the limited amount of time that I have to work on it. So, but yay! Someday it will be good. Like, good.
Like, good? As opposed to what kind of good?
Not good.
Fair enough.
Did you see the thing about the Xbox One? I mean, the Kinect being available standalone.
Hell yeah, I bought one.
Why? Yeah, eventually. I think this fall, right? They said
It's October for $149.
Yep. We knew it was coming. Xbox downward spiral continues.
And we all said it would be even more with the unbundled Kinect, and it is.
Although that's a good marketing ploy because then it makes it look like the Xbox One with the Kinect was a good deal to begin with because it's like, but we saved you $50, so that's a game.
I'm saving $50 here, and then you take it home and never use Kinect again. It's like that's how coupons work. Oh look, $1 off. I'm gonna buy whatever it is on this coupon because I'm getting $1 off.
Pretty much never,
Could be hats.
I don't wear hats.
Exactly.
But it's $1 off, so.
Yeah, I guess they're sort of out of control downward spiral with the Tomb Raider is sort of continuing. Crystal Dynamics had to do an FAQ about why is it exclusive? And it's sort of the same. They're like, yeah, Xbox is going to support it better, and so we're going to be able to make it really good. None of these explanations make any sense. So, Yeah, that happened. People continue. I saw an article finally today where someone took our idea. It was like, it's about time. Don't you guys usually act much faster? Where, yeah, the idea is from this podcast was that Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. And that's why they're listening to their customers, because they don't know what they're doing. And someone finally wrote, Microsoft doesn't know what we want. The whole article about it.
Well, yeah. It was bound to happen eventually.
It's true. Like next year, they'll be able to come out pretty confidently, but it will still be sort of. Yeah, I was looking at it today, and it's interesting because a lot of people look at things like Move and iToy and Wonderbook and just like all those sorts of things, where Sony seems to just throw things out there and then lets them die. But you can also see that in a positive way, in that they try different stuff. You know, like Xbox right now, I think they're very afraid of everything, and so they're doing whatever they.
Yeah, they're taking safe bets.
Yeah, it's just like,
board.
Instead of saying, "Oh, we're gonna make something like Uncharted and sort of compete with that," they're just like, "Let's buy Tomb Raider. That competes with Uncharted, right?" Or it's like, "Oh yeah, no one wants Kinect.
The fact that they even like admitted that was like the reason they were like doing it to blunt the damage was like, wow, that's pretty underhanded.
Yeah, it's just it's all safe bets. It's nothing. Yeah, like your console isn't exciting because you're not trying anything, because you're afraid to try anything. And then sometimes. And I guess it's unfortunate for them. It's like the thing that they tried was just really, really wrong and misguided. And so now they're like,
oh, they don't want this.
Oh, crap. We can never try anything again.
Yeah, I just remember like what RPG said about like, it looks like at their offices and like people just like throwing paper everywhere and just random microphones. Like, what's going on?
I imagine that's how it is in the Microsoft offices every day now. To be a fly on the wall.
PlayStation, it seems like they throw stuff out to die. But, it's not really true. Like, they throw everything out, and some of it dies, but some of it becomes really awesome. And it's like, Naughty Dog is sort of... It's proof. Like, who knew Uncharted would be big? Who knew The Last of Us would be big?
The same thing with, like... getting another amplitude from harmonics is like just because of the stuff that they did on PS2 that like at the time, there were a lot of music rhythm games like that was before Guitar Hero just blew up and we had Rock Band and stuff. It's like, oh, well, they took a chance and then saw people, oh, this is a really nice genre, and they have a lot of passionate fans about it. And now we could have another version, yes, coming next year.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah, there's something I wanted to ask you about Tropical. I know we're like recording it, and I should probably not ask, but there's this thing called like the Square Enix Collective. And like, there's like these indie games on your site that you can like vote up or down. But then it's weird because I went to the Kickstarter page for like one of the games that like was in the air quotes approval process, and like in their video they even say like Square Enix is not giving us any money, and I'm like, how does that work if they're the publisher? Is it just like the fans fund it and then Square Enix like does all the advertising and stuff, or how's that work?
Yeah, it's mostly Square Enix is gonna support it in like marketing and stuff like that, but they're not really.
Oh, they don't give like the developer like any like stuff to like fun. Make the game.
It's a different type of arrangement than usual.
That's very interesting. I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. If they're not giving them any money and they're the publisher, isn't that how that works? What's going on?
There are lots of new types of arrangements now, so
I could actually get behind stuff like that because it's like, well, the publisher doesn't want to fund the game, but they will put it out, so sign me up. I will try to rally some fans and get this game funded, and then Square Enix can just slap a sticker on the box and put up some ads and maybe dig themselves slowly out of debt to make some more awesome games. Where is it at? I tweeted RPG about it. I'm trying to find the name
You
of it.
did.
It was something.
They actually emailed me about it, which was weird because I'm like, why Square Enix? You should know better by now. You and I are not friends.
How did you get my email?
Well, I mean, I know how they got it. I'm just saying they should be emailing me about it.
Oh, it's called.
But it's called like Moon something.
Yeah, Moon Hunters. It's a 4-player co-op, but you can also play it single player. It looks pretty interesting. It's got like pixel art stuff going on. But as soon as I said co-op, I was like, whoa, sign me up. Also, I was wrong, because I was like, oh, well, clearly YouTube's bought Twitch, because we see all this integration going on in the back end.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, were we wrong, because here comes Amazon this week of, oh, well, actually, no, we're going to clarify this and confirm it when you ask us. Wall Street Journal, we did buy Twitch for $970 million. So, yeah, the 1 billion rumor was close, but, yeah, that's a lot of money.
It's weird. So, well, apparently Google didn't do it because they were afraid of like antitrust things that might happen, because Google owns YouTube and Twitch is the largest like game-centric video site ever. And if they were both under one umbrella, then it's like
crime monopoly.
Wait. So they're just like, forget it. And that fell through. And then Amazon was like, for some reason, and no one really knows.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just like,
doesn't make any
we're
sense.
gonna get it.
But then it's like part of me is
Oh,
like,
I know.
Part of me is like, well, I would have preferred them to have the infrastructure of Google, but then the other part of me is like, well, I'm glad they aren't going to be corrupted by Google. So, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure Amazon. Well, I mean, Amazon clearly had a lot of money to throw at them, so I mean, there's that. Maybe they'll just hire some people to make it
or
better.
gutted and just or like have all these policies adopted that we're all afraid of, but they're going to adopt them anyway, so because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but I was
Like,
just saying,
I'm
I was
not-
just gonna stream all my purchases now, so now everyone can shop with me. Join me, muhaha.
Twitch integration on Amazon.com. You go on and there's like, go live, and you just click go live on Amazon in your browser.
Basically, and then people.
Hi,
are like,
I'm shopping on
that's not a
Amazon
good product."
today.
It's like
Looking at socks.
Twitch shops Pokemon or Twitch shops Amazon. It's gonna happen. But I mean, it would be, although that would be kind of helpful though, if I'm like looking at products or something, I'm like, well, I don't know if this is good or not, or if somebody has like, experience with it. It's like, well, I've used this before, and now you get like real time feedback, and you don't even have to go to a store. It's like going to a real store without all the assholes. So it's like, it's great. It's great. It can happen.
Oh man.
It's crazy. Yeah, well, it's sort of confusing right now. Although we know that Amazon has been trying to get into games. They released something that they've basically been marketing as a console. They bought Double Helix, was it?
Yeah.
So they have their own studios. A lot of the Fire Phones features were talked about in context of games. But Twitch, I mean, Twitch's real value is the number of people who watch it.
I was gonna
and
say maybe
use
it's like
that site.
an ad thing, but then I think there's a lot of overlap in Twitch users and Amazon users. So
Yeah.
I'll say already.
It's like-
so it would be like,
Or maybe
not-
like promote products or something. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
It's a weird acquisition for sure. Or I guess it just doesn't make sense on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll find out their master plans years from now.
they do have like these their own electronic devices and stuff now though. So I mean, maybe they're just gearing up for some big plan that because I mean they have like their Kindles and
Oh yeah, good point.
and their phones and stuff. So it's like there could just be more to what they're planning to do.
see your Twitch technology. Twitch, show us your Twitch technology. So you can.
But it
adapt
doesn't
to
make
our
a lot of
devices.
sense. You know, like one of the first things you would think is be like, oh, Twitch is suddenly Amazon exclusive. It's like, but you lose their most valuable thing, which is all the people who use it. Because like, how many people have an Amazon?
Oh, dude,
Fire
Tropical, don't
TV
even say
right
that.
now?
Like, you have to be Prime member to use Twitch. That would be terrible.
That'd be ridiculous.
I
That'd
would-
be
I would riot.
insane. Like, no one would. They're just like, yeah,
Maybe.
we have all these Twitch users, now we don't feel like having so many anymore. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yet.
But I guess we'll see.
Oh, we will. Oh, we will. So now you guys can help me shop for socks and video games. Because I do both at the same time often. So, you're welcome.
Whatever.
You're welcome, everybody out in the internet. You get to help me shop. Because I do browse random things on Amazon, so that should be fun. I'm just waiting for it to happen. Do it, Amazon. Do it.
Well, that's the news. I guess I noticed a lot of people saying that September 9th they're going to be playing some PS4 games.
What's a PS4?
Anyway, this Destiny bundle might actually be a huge thing. Because a lot of people seem to be like getting it.
one of my coworkers was like, "I'm getting one even though I already have a PS4." I thought that's weird, but it's like whatever. So.
Which is hilarious when you think about it, because I think this is what Microsoft wanted Titanfall to be. And it was
I'm going to buy another Xbox One because that one comes with Titanfall.
And like I said, I saw more people buying Dark Souls than I did Titanfall when I was at that lineup. So I actually saw some people buying 2 copies, which was weird because I was like, why? Do you just like that much punishment? Just stuff like
Wants to leave open RPG so it can become a collector's item.
I guess. That was weird. But still.
Well, it's weird to me that at 10 million consoles worldwide, you could still go into a comment section and see a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I can't wait to play Infamous after September 9th." I was like, yes, I understand there's more than 10 million people in the world, but that's just, it's sort of insane. The numbers of
like the people that would
wait
wait for Destiny as opposed to like just getting one.
It's like the numbers of this generation, like previous generations, you can't use like, what is it? Everything is off the tape, or the rules are just, you can just throw them all out. Like, this is a totally new game going on, and it is totally insane.
I mean, because some of us just like to wait until pre-consoles happen, and it's like America doesn't usually get the cool special edition stuff that Japan gets because they obviously don't love us. So it's like when you get stuff like this, it's like you have to latch onto it before it's too late. And it's like, because I mean, initially I was gonna wait to get a PS4 until like later on in the year, but then they were like, here's this white Destiny bundle, and I was like, yay, pretty PS4. So
Yeah.
I pre-ordered one.
And I was gonna wait for the white PS4 too, but then I was like, well, if I get it, I can't be playing that second. So, and my brain was like, I must be playing the instant it becomes available. Therefore, this is not going to work. I got reverse course, buy one now, put it in hard drive, yada yada
First, I'm
yada.
gonna be pissed if they come up with like a Final Fantasy bundle later that's like an awesome special edition, and I'm like, son of a bitch, and then I'm gonna have to buy a new PS4. So it'll happen, and I'll have two PS4s, and Square Enix will be the blame again.
During RPG, you can just laugh at Tropical when the next time he's out of space and be like, ha ha ha, I have 2. It's not a problem for me.
It's true. I can have one as my download only PS4 and one is my hard copy games PS4 because it's possible.
Yeah, it's weird because like now I have to like wait for every game that's like got pre-order exclusives to like be like a week before it comes out, so I can like see if the digital version's gonna have the same stuff. I'm kind of over physical copies, so yeah. I can play at midnight, which is amazing. And
Some of them like
stand in line with people I don't want to talk to and kind of scare me sometimes.
But then you get like cool pre-order bonuses like plushies and
That I don't need to play the game.
steel cases and art books and stuff. And yeah. Some gamers smell, so there's that. I mean, there's downsides to everything. I like the art books though, so there's that.
I think the only thing that will lure me back is t-shirts. That's like it's like t-shirts or no sell.
Oh, I collect art books and strategy guides.
It's like I don't even. Yeah, it's like after like I look at the stack of my crap from like pre-orders of like collector's editions and like how much of this have actually like looked through or used on like after the first day I had it. It's like yeah, I'm done.
Although I never really buy special editions of stuff, so there's that.
It's like I don't need a $90 ghost figurine, even though I really, really want it.
You might need it
For what?
because yeah.
That's not a restart picture.
It could be like one of those things that's like the start of one of your long list of trades, like that one guy who traded the pen and ended up with the house or something like that.
What are you talking about?
There's like this thing where this guy through a series of trades kind of traded this little object that seemed like it was completely valueless, and then he ended up with the house. It's a thing.
Story.
Look it up on the internet. Sheesh. But yeah, it's like that could have been like your starter item, and the next thing you know, you could have a spaceship. What would you do with the spaceship? I don't know, Tekken. I don't know, but you could have one. Is the thing I'm trying to say. So.
RPG, I would say what I really want, but then it would get really creepy. So yeah.
Then don't.
Oh, it wasn't.
But
yeah.
now I'm curious.
It's a living creature. I think we should not worry about it because that would get like into really weird laws. Then I'm not sure if that works like that.
I see. Because yeah, slavery is illegal.
And it's not a liger, so you know, don't have to worry about that.
Oh my god, I would love a liger. If they didn't like maul people, I would be all for, animals like that. But they end up growing big and eating people, so I'm like, I kind of like my face intact, so yeah.
Alright, so I guess since we're done with the news, PAX Tropical will be going, and then he can go back and be like, yay, I went to PAX and there's all some stuff that happened.
Bring back souvenirs.
I think it's gonna be. Well, I have no idea what it's gonna be.
Oh, also Tropical, I heard this on another not another podcast, but from somewhere else, but don't sit on the beanbags. Just saying.
Don't sit on the beanbags?
Yeah. They may look comfortable, and you may be staying around, but it's a trap.
Why?
I don't know. They didn't say. They just, don't sit on the big bags.
That's almost disturbing. Because why? Are they
I'll
like?
let you contemplate why.
Are they like covered in rabies or something? Is that like a thing?
I'm sure they're covered in something.
Yo.
So yeah, that's it for this episode. Check us out: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever else on the internet that we're at, and stuff.
Are we gonna have to start saying we're on Amazon? Is that gonna happen?
Nobody knows. We can finally print RPG shirt. I'm the only one in the zombie apocalypse worth saving. And then for the first time ever, our podcast would be making money. Yeah.
Yay, money.
Oh man, we could have so many t-shirts. It's like one that says or something, and then
I can have a whole line of.
That's a good question, Tropical. One that
You
says
can
like
have a whole
thingies on the
line
front,
of-
and then on the back it's like and stuff or something. ...
Ooh, then we can have like our Rapitat mascot shirts or something. Just be a whole line of things.
It could happen. It could happen. So does anybody else have anything to say before we sign off?
Stuff.
Alright then.
Watch out if you're playing Diablo and your friends are tropical though. He likes to let dangerous monsters on the loose, so just beware.
Alright, so until next episode, who will finish a game again next week? Actually, next week's episode 250, so what? Yeah. We're just gonna leave it up in the air.
What's gonna happen
What's
next
gonna
week?
happen? Who knows? find out on the next episode, number 250 of Aimless Babble Z.
I'm gonna catch a fairy in a bottle.